Hi everyone, my name is Brandie Grace Wong, and today I'm going to give you a tour of Mailshake and how I use it to find clients for my agency. So to start off, here are reasons why I use Mailshake for my agency, Totally Branded. Number 1, it has a great tracking system in place where you can track how many emails are sent, open rates, how many emails were actually delivered into an inbox, and how many went to spam. So this is a Mailshake account that we've been using to find prospects for one of our clients. So this account has actually been active for 4 days, so not that long. I would usually recommend that you wait until you send 100 emails before you try to change up the messaging. I usually wrap up the emails personally every 2 days. Try it out. Everything should be tested. Everything should be tracked. And so this really does help with tracking because it shows how many emails are sent. So once this hits 100, I'll change up the messaging if it's not going well. It shows you the open rate, and usually what the open rate tells you is that people like your subject line and people like your very first line that you're sending them. So that directly correlates with the open rate. It shows me how many leads we have. So currently, because this is 4 days old, it has no leads, but I just want to show you guys a fresh account. This is my partner Fahad. Anyways, and then so let's check this part out. So this kind of shows you how many unique clicks you have. So how many people were actually interested in the content that you sent them. We got 3 unique clicks there, 5. So we're sending 5 emails a day for this one just to start off. But I'm ramping this up to 10 today because I believe that it can handle that. And it also shows you how many unsubscribe and bounces that you have. So these are dangerous. So the more that you get of unsubscribes and bounces, the more you want to either change up your email list and make sure that none of the emails are garbage, and I'll make another video as to how to clean your email list, or you're not doing your email warm-up properly, which is something that you have to fix as well. But yeah, this is just the interface. This is the dashboard. It shows you your most recent campaign. So I'm just going to click on that real quick. Shows you a little sending calendar, which is really nice because you know how many emails are going out and which ones are drips and which ones are first initial messages. So you can see 1 first initial message and 4 follow-up messages. And if you go over to sequence, you can pretty much create your own campaign. And it also shows you how many are remaining that need first initial messages. 16 were sent, and the open rate for each and every one of these, open rate 2. It also does go ahead and shows you how many unique clicks, replies, bounces, and subscribes go with each and every messaging. So you can kind of alter your messaging based off of this. So you can be like, oh, maybe this messaging just doesn't work, so we'll probably have to switch it up. By the way, this is a service that we offer as well for one of our mini agencies that Totally Branded owns. So yeah, you can see that the messaging is here. And if you look over here, you see first line, admire what you're doing, keep it up. That is for personalization. So on my lead list that I'm running, if I press on personalized prospects, you can see here that we've actually personalized each and every one of these emails for each and every prospect because we want it to be the first thing that they see when they look at their phone, or if they check their emails. We want it to be the first thing that they see is like, hey, I like your company. I like that your company is passionate about DTC performance, yada yada yada, that kind of stuff, right? So I've already made another video on personalization, so feel free to go check that one out. So yeah, we've personalized every single one of these, and if they don't have a first line, if Mailshake isn't able to populate the first line, then it just automatically goes to admire what you're doing. Same thing with name. Usually it goes name here, and then there doesn't exist. But if they don't give us a first name, then it will be like, hey there. So that way we don't look ridiculous. And so it waits 3 days, and then it sends this email. 2 days, and then it replies to that same email and sends this. 2 more days, and then it replies to that email as well. So we have 1 first initial message and 3 follow-ups. So this is what we're testing right now. We're definitely going to be changing it up with more case studies as well as more information, but this is just a rough draft because we just started this 4 days ago. I just wanted to give the quick tour. To add prospects, you add them right here. So the way to add in your first lines is you have all your first lines over here, and then you change the top column title to first line. Then you can just go ahead and drag and drop your CSV of email leads right here. Make sure that everything is mapped correctly. First name is correct. Make sure it's not last name or company name. Make sure it's first name. Social media accounts, LinkedIn URL, import, next step. And so make sure you check the personalization. So if you wrote first lines, then it should populate here. You can see that. There you go. And then once you've kind of checked through a couple of them and you realize that, they're set to go, you just confirm prospects, and then they've populated and they're added into your campaign now. So I've just gone ahead and switched accounts so I could show you what it looks like to reply to some prospects or what happens when you get leads. So go over to lead catcher right here when it shows you that you have a lead. And then you can go over here. You have the option to change the status of this lead to one, lost, ignore. You can assign it to a certain person if you have multiple people on the account. You can reply. You can forward. Amazing platform. You can see that we also have a signature. Be sure to add a signature. I'll show you where to do that. And then, yeah, you're able to see how many emails that you've sent this person as well. And you can also make notes about how the call went. And if you end up having a call with the lead, then you can press this button and you'll get their LinkedIn right away. And so you can check them out and do some research before your call. So to change your signature, you go over to mail accounts. You can see my partner's email right there. Settings. You can see the sending schedule as well. Typically, we send from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Eastern time because we've tested it out and it seems to be giving us more results than when we use Pacific time, but of course that's something we have to test out. We're sending 10 emails a day for this campaign. And if you press over here, there's a signature that you can use. You can change this up and that'll go on the bottom of all of your replies, all of your follow-ups, and all of your first initial messages. And of course, if you go over to integrations, you can actually add a bunch of integrations like Slack. So we use Slack. You can use it on Salesforce, Calendly, which is really, really useful because that would help people book calls with you, HubSpot, and Pipedrive. So we use Slack and we also use Close. So it doesn't integrate with us, but because we use Google Workspace for our emails, we're able to integrate that with our Close.io CRM. Here's the campaign section. So usually what we do with the campaigns is every time we change the messaging, we actually create a new campaign so we're easily able to track it. Or instead of doing that, you can actually A/B test. So you can split test stuff. So if I press A/B test right here, I can copy my segment or start a fresh segment, but I'll just copy it. And say, for example, I wanted to get rid of this one line and then test it and see how it goes. You're able to, and you can do the same thing with it all the way down. You can also add more tests if you want, but it gets kind of messy there. I would recommend around 2 split tests just to see how things go with the same niche of prospects. And the fun part is you can actually duplicate your campaigns and then you can make small alterations if you want to track it differently. We track our campaigns by date and the account, atomicsystems.com. And of course you have the reports. Of course on the left you can find your reports as well, so you can kind of pick which one you want to look for. So let's just track campaign engagements and it gives you this bar graph of your progress. So you can see we kind of had an issue there. So we're able to go back to figure out what went wrong. And if you have multiple employees and multiple users on one account, then you're able to track all the progress that one person has made. So if you wanted to reward them, you can reward them accordingly. And of course, if you go over to tools, you have all the resources that you would need. You'll be able to find free, valuable resources on how to use Mailshake to its fullest extent. So you can check out their blog. You can check out how to write cold emails. They'll give you some advice on if you don't know how to write copies, sales follow-up strategy, cold email masterclass if you're interested in that. Of course, they have an extension, so it alerts you every single time you get a lead. But we actually have an automation that alerts our Slack channel every time somebody answers an email or somebody replies back to us. And of course, they have this free email warm-up tool, so be sure to check it out if you want. I still prefer warm-up inbox mainly because it's easier. And so yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to use. I would say it's one of the easiest email platforms to use. Just one piece of advice is when you're adding new leads, make sure that you check the personalization, make sure that the first name is filled and also the first line is filled. That's the most important thing that I would urge everyone to check, because there have been multiple times where I don't check and then it just sends me, love what you're doing with your business. And people don't necessarily always love that. So that's the end of my Mailshake tour. I hope everyone enjoyed this video and I hope you found this valuable. And I also hope that you do utilize Mailshake. I'm not being sponsored by them at all. I'm also not part of an affiliate program with them at all. I'm just telling you this from the bottom of my heart that this is my favorite email prospecting software. And so I highly recommend it. And be sure to check out my other videos where I give even more e-commerce tips. And make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell. So a little bit about what my agency does is we're an agency that builds mini agencies for our clients to have for passive cash flow, so that way they can escape their 9-to-5 job. So if you want to check out what my agency does, the video link will be in the link in the description below. And I also do e-commerce coaching. If you have an idea for an online business, you would have access to my time, my resources, and my guidelines.